the Beer O'Clock Show with Steve and Mark. It's Beer O'Clock, and this is the Beer O'Clock Show, where every week we take a random beer and taste, discuss and rate it. I'm your host Mark, a former lager drinker, and joining me from the county whose residents are 38% more likely to be hit by falling aeroplane parts, my beer mentor Steve. G'day Steve.
Good evening, Mark.
You gotta watch out for falling propellers, mate.
Yeah, I think you've absolutely surpassed yourself this time. That one is brilliant.
That's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
This week we're discussing another Innis Gunn. We had Innis Gunn a couple of weeks ago. We've got another one this week because we have a shelf load to get through. This is the original Innis Gunn. A fan favourite, I'm sure. Before we get to that, though, we have some other tidbits to get through. So, Steve, what beers have you encountered this week, and you or otherwise?
Yes, I've had, unsurprisingly, quite a few this week.
Yeah, it was your birthday last week.
It was my birthday last week, so there were some birthday celebrations at the weekend, and I actually think I managed to untap most of them. So here we go, in reverse order. I've had Hophead by the Dark Star Brewing Company. I've had one called So Hop by Moore. Rebellion Blonde by the Marlow Brewery, Red Fox by Fuller's, which is their seasonal ale, which I have to say stands out because it was quite a nice beer. It was very right for the weather that we've been experiencing. So it was a nice sort of darker beer colour, very malty, very wintry, spicy flavour. So that was probably one of the standout ones. A couple of Power Riders by Kellam Island, a Redemption Pale Ale by the Redemption Brewing Company, a beer that is amazingly called Pint by the Marble Brewery, which just the greatest name ever. Then a Rattlesnake Rye Pale Ale by Bingham's, Night of the Garter by Windsor and Eton, a couple of bottles of Summerfest by Sierra Nevada, which is a slightly more. I'm not sure if you've seen the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen the bottle. Yeah.
The Summerfest is more like a kind of golden summery lager.
Okay.
So it's refreshing. An SA Gold by Brains, a few pints of Beck's, and then a Wells Bombardier. That's my list for the week.
Wow. That was over a week, though. It wasn't on your birthday.
That was 2 nights.
2 nights?
That was Friday and Saturday night, yeah.
Bloody hell.
Yeah,
Champion.
I'm checking into the Priory very soon.
Oh, well, I drank, apart from the personal assignment that we'll get to in a little bit, I had 2 others. One was, remember I mentioned a few shows ago about this gift pack I've got in Scotland when we were on holidays. And I kept 2 bottles back and gave 2 to my boss. And I had one of the bottles that I kept back the other night, which was the Ebulum Elderberry Black Ale. Poured out really nice and black. I mean, it
Sounds
was
interesting.
literally a black ale. And it tasted like shit.
Oh, dear.
It was a really floral, malty taste, but overpowering. It was probably the elderberry, because I've never tasted elderberry before. I don't know what elderberry tasted like. But it was... I could only have a few mouthfuls, and I poured the rest down the sink. It was.
Oh, that's not good.
It was
That's
really,
sacrilege.
really unpleasant. And the second one I had was a beer from Badger's, my favourite brewery so far. This was the Blandford Flyer, which is their ginger beer. Well, the ginger flavoured beer. I got it thinking it was going to be a ginger beer. So I'm thinking, I don't mind ginger ale, I don't mind ginger beer, I'll give this a go. But no, it tasted like ginger. And I couldn't stomach all of that either. I made a concerted effort to get through it. But no, that ginger taste was really overpowering, and it is not to my taste. So unfortunately that went to the wayside as well. Which was a real shame. No.
You then.
But I was a very lucky boy. My mate Alistair, who is up in Scotland, he sent me a care package of some Scottish beers. So the first one I got was a Red Kite Ale from Black Isle. Ben Nevis India Pale Ale, and Isle of Arran, Arran, don't know how you pronounce that, a blonde premium beer. And like I was telling you before we started recording, Steve, I ventured bravely into the local Morrison's that I've never been to before because it's in the rough end of my borough.
I love it that you've got a rough end of town.
Yeah. and they've actually got the best beer selection I've seen in this side of London in a supermarket. So I got a Hogsback Brewery Hop Garden Gold, a Joseph Holt of Manchester Maple Moon, which sounds really interesting. It's got maple in it. 49er by Ringwood Brewery, and a Junction from Sam Brooks, who are local, I think. They're in London.
We've spoken about them before.
Oh yeah, the Battersea.
Yeah, Battersea, Wandsworth.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to digging into all of those. So that's more for my pub shelf.
Your pub shelf must be bowing in the middle by now, surely.
Oh, well, I figured I needed to restock, and I had 2 on the weekend, so it's time to restock. And you know me, I'm attracted to all these different labels, so I've got to collect them all. It's like Pokemon, but for beers.
Yeah. It's all about the label for you, isn't it?
Exactly.
Clearly your experiences at the weekend absolutely show that you shouldn't judge a book by its cover.
Exactly, yeah.
So, lesson learned.
I got it. I'm trying to be more adventurous, but yeah, I've got my fingers burnt now. I'm going to stick with what I know for a little bit. And this great British beer hunt at Sainsbury's. The Balham Sainsbury's still hasn't caught on. I talked about this last week. I went in again this week, fingers crossed, thinking, and nope. They've got 3 types of Green King IPA out, though.
Brilliant.
That's good.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Because you can never get enough Green King IPA or variations of it, can you?
They had a green one, a red one, and a yellow one, I think. But pass on that. So I'm still waiting for them to catch up with the rest of the country. Yeah, never mind. Let's go on to our personal assignments. Last week, on my behalf, it was Prairie Gold by the Wolf Brewery, and for Steve, it was Prodigal Son by Williams Brothers Brewing Company. So, Steve, how was the Prodigal Son?
It was okay. It poured it's like a coppery sort of colour. It's quite nice, quite refreshing. Because I had it cold. The bottle didn't recommend it, but I just thought I'm going to have cold beer for a change. So had it cold, quite refreshing. I'd say there were slight malts in it, and it had a very, very subtle spicy aftertaste as well. Ever so subtle. Not that you'd really notice it, but it was just there in the background. And that's really all I've got to say about it. If I'm completely honest. Not my usual description of a beer, but in my defence, it was on my birthday, and I wasn't really paying attention to the beer that I was drinking and supposed to be reviewing. So probably a lack of taking note from my point of view. But I've got a few more of them, so I'll be trying those, and we'll revisit it when I've had a better taste of it, and I'm able to give a much better review than 7 words.
Very good. The Prairie Gold from Wolf Brewery came out gold, as the name would suggest. Really nice spicy hops. Very crisp. Really nice drinking beer. I think you'd quite like that if you haven't had it already.
I don't think it is. It is one I've had. I've had a couple of the Wolf beers, but I've not had that one.
Yeah, I think you would like that as a nice, relaxing beer. As in, you want something that you can drink a few of. I think you'd quite like that. It's very easy going.
It sounds nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd like to give that a go.
Yeah, well, you should.
Well, there you go.
There you go. Okay, we had some comments of various types from our friend Anthony on Twitter. He's back from holidays or wherever he went off to, and he's been checking in with us instead of Untapped. with all the beers he's had. He's had an
Been
Adnams
making up for
Topaz.
lost time, hasn't he?
Yeah, an Adnams Topaz Gold he had. He had a Fuller's Autumn Harvey's Best Bitter. What else did he get through? He had some Badger Ales. I think one of them was a Tanglefoot that we reviewed last week. Yeah, so that's very good of him to check in with us. You can check in with us on Twitter at Beer O'Clock Show, by the way. And you can also find us on Untapped, which is an iPhone app. They also have a website, and they must have an Android version. Do you use an Android version, Steve?
Yeah, it's available on Android as well.
Cool. I think my name is Roku on it. If you guys want to follow me on Untapped, and yours is Mental Bentos.
It is, yes.
Right, just like our Twitter names. So look us up on Untapped, friend us, and yeah, you can find out what we're drinking before we actually talk about it on the show. So that'll be really good to connect with you guys. Moving on, it's time for this week's selected beer, which, as I said at the beginning of the show, is the Innis Gunn original. This is, I suppose it's their original. Smooth Scottish beer with hints of toffee, vanilla, and oak. It's a... How many percent is this? I can never read their labels.
6.6%.
Good
night, Mark.
Good night, Mark. I'm claiming medicinal purposes because I'm not feeling well. So this should at least help or hinder me in some way.
You up, probably.
Yeah. So I think I had this one once before, a few years ago, when I decided to get into beers, but that phase didn't last long. But let's crack it open and have a look.
Yeah, I was first introduced to this about 4 years ago.
I can smell it already.
Yeah, it's a lovely smell, lovely aroma that you get from the original Innis Gunn.
Pours out a lovely gold colour.
Yeah.
A nice, slightly off-white head.
Quite fizzy. Is yours fizzing a bit?
It is fizzing, yep.
Yeah.
Nice carbonation. Settling quite well. Yeah, nice and clear as well.
Yeah, beautiful beer.
Beautiful. Very clean smell to it as well.
Yeah, you can certainly smell, again, as you would expect from the Innis Gunn beers, you can smell the oak-aged process straight away in there. You've got the spirit, the whiskey sort of like smell coming through straight away.
In the first taste, you can pick up that whiskey from the barrels. Yeah, it's got that very slight boozy taste to it that I picked up from the Treacle Porter we had a couple of weeks ago, but obviously not as strong as it was on that one. But that's the whiskey barrel aging, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Sorry, I'm just savouring the first sip, because this is again, it's up there as one of my favourite beers, the original Innis Gunn.
Yeah. So sorry, go on.
I was just going to say that flavour that you get from it straight away. There's so many flavours going on in there, but they all work. They all complement each other so well.
Yeah. So drawing a connection to the Treacle Porter we had a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, both Innis Gunn beers, they've got similar taste roots because of that oak age, the aging process that they use for it.
Yeah.
Doing it in the whiskey barrels, but this one, very easy on that first taste. You get that boozy kick, but it's not as overpowering as as the other one was.
It's got a very easy aftertaste to it as well.
Yeah, definitely. Nice hops in there, but not very strong hops.
No, just background, isn't it? It's just there as part of the beer. Sweet flavours.
Yeah.
Can't disagree with the bottle cites smooth Scottish beer with hints of toffee, vanilla, and oak. Can't disagree with that. I think you can pick up the toffee. You can pick up that sweetness, the sweet vanilla as well in there. There's slight undertones of honey coming through as well. I think if we think back to some of the honey-based beers we've done, there's some similarities there. But in my mind, it's just a completely unique flavour that you get from the original Innis Gunn.
Yeah, I can't say I'm getting the vanilla or the toffee very much. But again, I'm not a huge drinker, so that boozy whiskey taste is what's dominant for me. But yeah, there's a very sweet freshness to it. It doesn't hang on your palate very long either.
No,
Which is nice, because
it's
you want your mouth fresh for the next taste.
yeah, it's crisp, isn't it? You drink it, you get the instant hit of the flavours mixed with the aroma. It goes down, and as it goes down, it almost cleanses the palate as it goes through.
Yeah.
So as you say, you're then ready for the next sip and the next sip, and it's a great beer in my mind. It's one of those that, as I say, it's one of my favourites, but I don't drink it often enough. I kind of almost save it for a rare treat.
At this ABV, I would hasten to say that it's not a session beer, is it? Unless you're looking to damage yourself.
No, you'd maybe have 2, maybe 3 of these in a night at the most, and it's definitely. I mean, I've drunk it. There's a few bars in London where you can get it off the tap now, and I had a pint of it once, and it was too much.
Yeah.
I think the size of the bottle, what is it, 330 ml, 330 ml bottle is just the perfect size for it. A couple of those.
Yeah, that's just over half a pint, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd merrily sleep the night away after a couple of those. to be honest, with you. So it's a nice beer for nice sort of like wintry beer again. So you know the weather's shit at the moment. It's raining. It's dark. It's horrible, and it's just a nice beer to curl up on the sofa with.
Yeah, having this after your Christmas roast, you've polished off your treacle porter, your Christmas ale.
Yeah,
you're ready to drift off, but you just need something to nudge you a bit further. Here you go.
Yeah. I think you've given me an idea there. I think I might actually have an Innis Gunn Christmas Day this year. I might get a range of their beers and a beer for every occasion. So maybe one with a starter and then one with a main and one for pudding. And then you have to have one in the evening. And then there's the crackers and cheese, and which one would I have with the cheese? And yeah, I think that's a great idea. It's Innis Gunn Christmas, folks. So do you think the fact that you're slightly poorly is affecting your taste at all?
Maybe. I'm trying to smell it, but I can't smell it.
Yeah, that's not really going to work when you're not well, is it?
I can kind of get. I'm trying. What kind of toffee are you tasting? Are you tasting like the runny toffee or the boiled toffee? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do. I do get your meaning.
Because I can kind of get a very faint burnt sweetness.
That would be the toffee that you're probably picking, the toffee flavour. I mean, I don't think they add anything to it that gives it a specific toffee flavour. I think it's just the result of the slow maturation process in the old barrels.
Yeah.
That it just picks up all the flavours and they mix, and the flavour that it most comes out with is toffee.
Mm.
But no, I think if anything, it would be the runny toffee. It wouldn't be the hard boiled sort of toffee stuff.
And thinking when I was a kid, and I'd get the homemade toffee, like the brown, dark orange type toffee, and sucking on those. This is much what this reminds me of, which was the very burnt amber taste.
Yeah.
Tell you what, Innis Gunn always throw me back to my childhood, and don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, yeah, they did. They did the other week as well, didn't they?
Yeah, I suddenly had my Ratatouille moment, and I went off on one on the show. Apologies about that.
So where's this taking you back to?
Well, back to my mum making her homemade boiled sweets.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't sweets; they were like little. She used to put them in. The listeners don't care about this kind of thing, but she used to put them in kind of like cupcake type things, but they were shallow, and so they come out flat, but kind of cupcake wrapper. You know, the congregated type paper wrappers that you can put cupcakes or whatever. we have this thing in Australia called chocolate crackles. I don't know if you got them over here. Where you get cocoa and you mix it up with rice bubbles and you put them in the fridge and it hardens into this.
Oh yeah,
Rice
like
bubbles.
rice crispy cakes.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah,
Sort of thing, yeah.
and you put them into cupcake paper wrappers type things. Mum used to do hardened toffees in them as well, and you'd pull them out and you'd suck on them for a while. And it was usually burnt toffee, and that's what this this tastes like. Memory lane with Mark, folks.
It's the show that just keeps on giving.
Exactly. Yeah. No, but a very nice beer. Many of our listeners would have had this already. Innis Gunn, obviously, well thought of, and we're not just saying that because they send us free stuff. We've got a couple more on the pub shelf that we'll probably get to before the end of the year. We don't want to turn this into the Innis Gunn show. But and I'm sure some of those I might not be too keen on, like the rum spiced one that we've got. I'm not sure because I'm not a big rum fan, apart from rum.
I drank the rum spiced one last year, and I was a little underwhelmed by it. It's one of those I was looking forward to having, and having had their rum finish, which is one of their, because they've got three staple beers in their range. So they've got the original that we're drinking tonight.
Yep.
Then they've got a blonde as well, and then they've got the rum finish.
Mm-hmm.
And the rum finish is beautiful. It's one of those absolute to die for beers. So I was expecting the spiced rum finish to be just as good, and it wasn't. I was a little let down by it. I didn't think the rum didn't come through so much in it. I didn't get any of the spice that was in there. So it'd be good to actually revisit that one. And to give that a go at some point, but like I say, we don't want to turn it into the beer o'clock show with Innis Gunn every week, do we?
No, unless they want to give us lots and lots of money, which I don't think they're forthcoming.
Yeah,
in doing.
I'd wear a shirt with Innis Gunn on it.
I would. I'm happy to haul myself out.
Yeah.
Should any breweries be listening? I have no shame, especially when it comes to free stuff. But no, seriously, this is. Like the Winter Porter, it's got character in it, but it doesn't have the depth of the Treacle Porter. But then you wouldn't think it to have the depth because this is going to be their general beer. By depth, I don't know. It's the original. It's not like a special.
No,
brew.
this is what they've built everything else on.
Yeah,
is this beer?
You can say it's run of the mill almost for Innis Gunn. This is their bedrock beer. But, there's definitely character to it. You can tell it's an Innis Gunn beer just by drinking it. It's got that really familiar oak age taste to it.
And they do have, I have to say, and I don't want to sound like too much of a twat here, but it's a lovely bottle. It's a really nice bottle as well that it comes in.
Yeah, I like their branding.
Yeah. It's the way you've got the embossed stuff all on the bottle, and you've got that lovely shiny red label. It's an attractive bottle.
Yeah,
and it's a nice beer to match.
Yeah, I'm getting to the end of the bottle now already. I keep saying this, but I've got to stop drinking these so quickly.
Oh, so I'm nearly done as well. It's fine.
These shows are getting faster and faster to record.
They are, because we're drinking the beer quicker.
But it is a smaller bottle. It's not like the 500ml we normally go through.
No, maybe one day we'll build up to actually doing 2 beers in a show. Who knows?
One day, you never know.
Yeah, one day.
Maybe not on a school night.
No, that'd be a weekend special.
Yeah. So I'm really getting that burnt amber taste to it now. Again, regular listeners will know. Often it takes me until I've gone almost to the bottom before the initial shock of the taste of the beer stops overwhelming me and I can actually taste something other than the bitterness or the hops or whatever. But yeah, I'm beyond that initial boozy shock now.
Yeah, again, it's as you've gone down the glass and it's warmed slightly, that there are different flavours coming through. Slight variations on the flavours that are in there.
Yeah, it's nice. Oh, that taste was really boozy as well.
Mm.
I'm still not getting the vanilla. And I quite like vanilla. That's a shame.
It's only an ever so slight hint, I think, with the vanilla. It's I think the thing that when I first tried this, the first thing that sprang to mind when I took a sniff of it, I suppose that's the word that you use. When I got the aroma, it was popcorn, like toffee popcorn.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Not the stuff that you get from the cinema, but the Butterkist
Yeah.
stuff. It's that
Oh, yeah.
covered in toffee.
Oh, I love that stuff.
That is what I got straight away with this toffee popcorn. Like last week, it was toast. This week it's toffee popcorn. That I might start doing that. That might become my trademark for the show. What does it smell like? Bang.
What indication of Steve's diet does this beer
Yeah,
reveal?
exactly. Yeah.
No, very nice.
Yes, a very nice beer. Well done, Innis Gunn, on brewing such a fine beer.
Again, yes. Next week, just skipping ahead a little bit, we're going to be reviewing something from the Sam Brooks Brewery. It all depends on availability for Steve. So we'll confirm that over Twitter, so follow us on Twitter at Beer O'Clock Show. Hopefully going to be the Junction.
Yes.
Which is their deep amber colour and spicy rich fruit taste beer, which pairs especially well with hearty dishes such as sausages and mash or steak pie, which sounds good to me.
Pie, beer and pie again. There we go. It's the beer and pie.
Yeah, after the Tanglefoot last week.
Yeah.
Anything that goes with beer and pie is good for us.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, and that's a nice 4.5%er as well, which will be nice and easy after this week.
Yeah. I think it more than likely will be the Junction. I can get hold of that, so it's just a case of actually getting hold of a bottle of it. But as Mark says, we'll confirm that on Twitter.
Yeah, but winding up the Innis Gunn original review, Steve, what rating would you give this out of 5?
5. All
really?
The way. No hesitation. Like I say, one of my top beers. I quite literally can't understand people that say they do not like this beer. I cannot understand what it is that there is not to like about this beer, and I will happily be proved wrong on the feedback over the next week if people want to prove me wrong that there's something wrong with this beer, because there isn't.
Okay, feedback to Steve if you want to. You can on Twitter, Beer O'Clock Show, email us, beeroclockshow@gmail.com, hit up the website, beeroclockshow.co.uk. You can rate us on iTunes, by the way. We are on iTunes, so chuck us a rating and throw in some comments towards Steve as well if you want. Personally, I would give it probably if I can't do half marks, which Untapped don't allow, and I'll pretend it's Untapped, I would give it a 4 out of 5. Only because I can't taste all the tastes that I want to taste. But I mean, it is really nice. I could happily drink this again, and I'm glad that we revisited the original after I had it years ago and didn't get the full benefit out of it. Because back then I just thought, this tastes like a strong lager. I was equating all beers to lager back then. Which, when I got a Leffy Blonde, was a bad mistake, because that was strong for me back then in my Kronenberg era. Days.
Yeah. The Kronenberg era.
Yes.
Circa 2000 and
talking of beers, of course we're talking about beers. This weekend I'm going to be visiting the John Lewis Food Hall with the missus, where you picked up an Otter Ale gift pack a few weeks ago. So
yes,
the wife says they've got them downstairs in the food hall at John Lewis at Oxford Street. So I'm going there. I'm getting myself an Otter Ale gift pack because you first had Otter Ale at the Download Festival this year.
I did. Yes.
I didn't drink it because I wasn't an ale drinker back then. I think I had a lager that weekend. It was What lager do they have to do at Download Festival? What is it called again?
Tubal.
Yeah, that was disgusting.
Do not even get me started.
So I'm getting myself some otter ale this weekend.
Get in, and you get a glass with it as well. And it's
I saw that. I thought, is it a pint glass?
It's a pint glass with
praise
a lovely
Jeebus.
etching of an otter.
Oh, lovely! I can finally have a proper pint glass because I've got this Innis Gunn one which holds one of their 330ml bottles, but I want a proper pint glass.
I was you say that I was questioning last week because obviously I turned 40. I was questioning whether I was old enough for a pewter tankard, which I didn't think I was. And then one of my friends bought me one for my 40th birthday, so I now have a pewter tankard.
Oh, good man!
And unless we're drinking a specific beer on the Beer O'Clock show, I will be drinking from my pewter tankard every week, and I will be posting photos on Twitter of it as well.
What you have to worry about is when you go to your local pub and they've got your tankard behind the bar that they pull out for you specially every time you come in the door. That's when
that
or
I'll start taking it to pubs with me and expecting them to put my in that tankard.
That's when you know you've arrived.
Yes.
In old manhood.
Yeah, I'm at the bottom of that staircase at the moment. I've got the tankard. Or am I at the top of the staircase? Cause, it's a staircase down, isn't it? You can't go up. Yeah. So I'm at the top of the staircase with the pewter tankard. There are only a few short steps to,
before you trip and plummet to the bottom.
Absolutely. Yeah. in a wave of alcoholism or something.
Bless. I'll be there with you every step of the way, my friend.
Brilliant. Let's if we're going to go, let's go together.
Okay, and for next week we need to say what our personal assignments are. The personal assignment is where Steve and I select a beer each. Usually beers that the other chap can't get hold of for whatever reason, and we drink it by ourselves, lonely in our room.
With our beer shelf.
And then we come back the following week and tell you what we think of it. So my personal selection for this week is one of the ones that my mate Alistair sent me. I'm going to be drinking the Isle of Arran, if that's how you pronounce it, blonde premium beer, which is a 5% alcohol. Yeah, so that's from the Isle of Arran brewery on the Isle of Arran. There you go.
Okay.
What about yours, mate? What do you got lined up for next week?
I am going to do another one that's come from the Sainsbury's Great British Beer Hunt that's on at the moment. It's a Sandbrooks beer and it's called Pump House Pale Ale.
Oh.
So it's one that I've been looking forward to. So I shall be doing that and feeding back next week.
Very good. Okay, well that's the end of this episode. Thanks very much for joining us as always. As I said, the best way to get in touch with us is on Twitter at Beer O'Clock Show. You can hit up Stephen personally at Mental Bentos, MENTALBENTOS, and I'm at Roku, ROKKU. We love to get your feedback. Follow us on Twitter if you don't already. Give us a shout, say you listen to the show, we'll follow you back, and we'd like to hear what you're drinking, what beers you recommend, and stuff like that. If you're a brewery or an independent pub, get in touch because we want to support you. You don't need to send us free stuff. I mean, we're quite shameless, but we're not that shameless. We will happily give you a shout out if you've got something interesting going on. Sometime in the next couple of months, Steve and I are going to be doing some in-house reviews at an independent pub without their say-so. We're just going to do it anyway. But it's just our way of giving back to the beer community, and also meeting up and having a beer and a pie. But, who needs an excuse to do that? Well,
never an excuse needed.
No, but that's the plan. In a couple of weeks, we're going to be doing something a little special. We'll give you more details on that next week. Until then, thanks, Steve, as always.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
I hope your continued 40th birthday celebrations continue on to the month in high style.
Yes, hopefully they will.
Cool, and I'll talk to you again next week. Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah, chat to you then.
Cheers.